What's going on, Crimson Tide fans? What's going on? What's going on? How are we feeling out there? Let me hear you. We're getting cranked up. New week, fresh material, brand new slate of shows on what is the hottest form, best form of Alabama football news, notes, and information you are going to find in the streets, on the internet, just pinpoint blank, period. This is, in my own words, the podcast with yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Go ahead and drop that thumbs up, that like on the show, and subscribe. That tells us got to continue pumping you the utmost in material on your Alabama football program. The network here at TDA on YouTube, over 7,000 subscribers strong, thanks to you, the fans. Now, we're going to get into the Alabama running backs in the NFL having success. Before that, big news, huge news in regarding the Southeastern Conference, and new competition for Nick Saban has just broke. Now, the good news of all this is offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian is safe. There were reports coming out that he was entertaining the opportunity to potentially be the new head coach for Mississippi State. But right now, according to Pete Thamel of Yahoo Sports and other guys coming behind him, the Bulldogs have their guy. They thought about Steve Sarkisian, they thought about Billy Napier, but they have their guy in Mike Leach, the crazy pirate. Mike Leach, formerly of Washington State in the Pac-12, Texas Tech in the Big 12, the man that's known for a thin note card with plays on it, coming to the Southeastern Conference to take over the job at Mississippi State as the head coach in replacement of Joe Moorhead. People, the SEC West, with the exception of Arkansas, the SEC West is about to be the most entertaining division in all of college football. When you look at Nick Saban of Alabama, Mike Leach of Mississippi State, Lane Kiffin of Ole Miss, Ed Orgeron of LSU, and Jimbo Fisher of Texas A&M, the SEC West about to be the most entertaining division in all of college football. Now, of course, media personnel excited about the SEC Media Days in July. Those guys are going to be breaking their neck trying to get to Atlanta, Georgia, to see what crazy, controversial things will come out of the mouth of Mike Leach, as he's now the head coach of the Bulldogs. But in terms of just how does this affect Alabama and head coach Nick Saban, first and foremost, as if the competition couldn't have gotten any stiffer, any tougher, you bring in Mike Leach. And here is somebody of whom a alumnus of BYU, also an alumnus of Pepperdine University, a native of California, 58 years of age. Mike Leach, in his head coaching career, 10 years at Texas Tech from 2000 to 2009. Of course, 8 years at Washington State, 2012 through 2019, we're looking at a boatload of 3,000-plus yard quarterbacks he has worked with, produced, molded. In terms of Texas Tech, we're looking at Cliff Kingsbury, Graham Harrell, Cody Hodges, Sonny Cumbie, and B.J. Simmons. When you look at Washington State, Mike Leach has had his hand in molding Connor Holiday, Luke Falk, Gardner Minshew, and Anthony Gordon. Some big-time names in terms of quarterbacks. Produced 10 winning seasons in his 10 years at Texas Tech, all 10 winning seasons. The best year, 2008, where it went 11-2 with Graham Harrell at quarterback and Michael Crabtree at wide receiver. Then, of course, the 8 years at Washington State, he had 4 winning seasons, the best one coming in 2018, where the group went 11-2. So the biggest thing with Nick Saban in having Mike Leach join the conference, he's going to have to fight even harder to get the big-name quarterbacks. Why? when you have Lane Kiffin, who's already an elite offensive mind and a quarterback savant in Ole Miss. Now you bring in this joker, the crazy pirate, for some people, the father of this new age spread offense, the guru of the spread offense, and Leach coming to Starkville in Mississippi State. Now you got two guys in the Magnolia State of Mississippi, good with offenses, very, very, very good with quarterbacks. Nick Saban, a battle on his hands in trying to continue getting the elite names at the quarterback position with these two, and now especially with Mike Leach joining the Southeastern Conference, folks. This is big. This is big. Now, the other reason as to how this in particular helps the Crimson Tide, along with Steve Sarkisian staying put in Alabama, is this allows the College Football Playoff Committee to really now look at Alabama's strength of schedule. And I'm going to break this down here, especially with next year's schedule. When you look at Alabama has to play Georgia. You know how good Kirby Smart is. Alabama has to go on the road to take on LSU, Death Valley, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, Ed Ogeron competing for a national championship this year as he'll take on Clemson and Dabo Swinney next Monday night in New Orleans. Then you've got, of course, Ole Miss. You battle Lane Kiffin in Oxford. You take on Mike Leach. Of course, Mississippi State will come to Tuscaloosa. It'll take a minute for Leach to get everything in order there, but just the hire of him, you got to think that the Bulldogs will be trending in the right direction. Then on top of that, you've got, in the SEC East, you draw Pruitt's going to have Tennessee better. Jimbo Fisher's going to have Texas A&M better. And then Auburn, as always, with Gus Malzahn. So with the addition of Mike Leach, now the College Football Playoff Committee has to seriously dive into Alabama's strength of schedule and take that even more seriously. But this is going to be interesting. Mike Leach in here, new competition for Nick Saban, a new foe that Saban's going to have to flex his muscle on, flex his will on, impose his dominance on, because Leach, once again, a guy that does not have a playbook. He's got a thin note card. And if the plays don't work on one side of the field, that's no problem. He'll flip it around and go to the opposite side of the field. Whomever Mississippi State gets at quarterback, you got Tommy Stevens already there, along with Garrett Schrader. State's going to try to throw for over 5,000 yards now. They're going to start to try to throw for over 5,000 yards. But that's the big news right now. According to Pete Thamel of Yahoo Sports, Mike Leach making his way from the Big 12 and the Pac-12 to now the Southeastern Conference, coaching the Mississippi State Bulldogs. New competition for Nick Saban. SEC West becoming the most entertaining division in all of college football. Folks, let me know your thoughts right here. What do you think about Mike Leach joining the SEC? What type of competition will he bring Nick Saban? How will he be able to keep Coach Saban on his toes as a 68-year-old? We'll try to get Alabama back to the mountaintop of college football next season. Just comment your thoughts there on Mike Leach on the bottom of the YouTube page there. Well, that's going to take us to our first break here on In My Own Words, the podcast, hottest show in the streets. As always, you check out our good friends at Utero Hibachi that are bringing you delicious hibachi, sushi, and takeout. They're conveniently located University Mall Food Court in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Just let them know upon you walking in that the guys at Touchdown Alabama Magazine sent you. Delivery for them can be found on Crimson2go and Waitr. That's Utero Hibachi. And as always, check out the guys at STSFootwear.com, giving you the limited edition Roll Tide shoe, the baddest new thing smoking. tremendous detailing on the shoes. If you use the code term TD in Alabama, you earn $15 off your next purchase. Can't beat that with a stick. That is STSfootwear.com. Upon our return from the break, we will dive into the Alabama running backs having success in the National Football League. Don't touch that dial, folks. You're listening to In My Own Words. What's up, college football fans? You can catch the hottest show in the streets, that being In My Own Words, the podcast, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Subscribe to Touchdown Alabama magazine for the best in Tide football.